tonight we have the opportunity to have guests we normally couldn't fly in and have as a live guest. So we are really privileged to have, I guess, first off, Dave Woods. Dave,
Hi there.
give us a quick synopsis who you are and what you're all about.
Well, I'm with the Inventors Council of Central Florida. We've been doing inventing stuff for 50 years. I haven't been with them that long, but I got involved with it with a failed invention and then got going on the one that we're going to talk about tonight. Which is moving along very nicely. It's a swim
Oh,
fin that's 20 to 40% more efficient than regular swim fins.
wow,
So, yeah,
fantastic. All righty.
yeah.
Also with us tonight is Kim Brand.
If that's the
Kim, tell us who you are, what you do, what you're all about.
intro. So I'm an inventor. In fact, it's probably the only thing I could have claimed with any success. As we all know, inventing and executing are two different things. But among the things that I've invented is a business that sells and services, provides professional development to schools, called First Makerspace. And it's an outgrowth of an accident. I like to describe that sometimes ideas find you, or you find ideas. And in this particular case, it was an idea that found me with an IT client of mine. I software and did IT consulting for a number of years. Um, and he asked me if I wanted to be involved in a 3D printing startup. Well, at the time, 10 years ago, I really didn't know what that was. And I kind of fumbled through long enough to invent a 3D printing summer camp when our investor spent a lot more money and bought a lot more 3D printers, most of which didn't work. And the Indianapolis Business Journal said that our 3D printing summer camp failed. But notwithstanding failure, which is, of course, the mother's milk of inventing, we began a business, First Makerspace, that now has 10 employees. We've served about 200 schools around the country, mostly in Indiana. But I think that our claim to fame will be that we've really influenced tens of thousands of schools, sorry, tens of thousands of students, uh, to think that making is a mindset and inventing is a priority. Uh, Often unrewarded, but in our case, so far, we're successful. So
Very
I'll
cool.
leave that as my introduction.
All righty. Fantastic. Also with us tonight is David Nelson with Founders Forge. David, tell us who you are, what you're all about.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm one of the founders of a nonprofit entrepreneur center called Founders Forge, and we are an entrepreneur support organization. I've been a six-time startup founder, technologist my whole life, and really supporting inventors, anywhere from hobbyists all the way to makers that are releasing products, trying to make it in a market has been what we've been working on for really the last 10, 15 years almost. And really, we've seen our region of Northeast Tennessee go from 12 startups in our region to over 100 today.
Wow,
So it's really just been explosive growth.
that's
And so,
fantastic.
yeah, it's been a fun time to be helping support entrepreneurs. And as it was said just a second ago, having, encouraging everyone from the youth all the way to, just anybody that wants to, make something and get it out in the market is just a fun thing to do. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Great. Also, Eugenia Kelly is with us tonight. Eugenia, tell everybody who
Good
you are,
evening.
what you do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eugenia Kelly. I live right here in the host city of now Axure. I am currently managing a couple of products. One of them has a couple of patents in the works, and I'm really lucky that Don and Leo let me hang out with them. And it's good to be with everyone this evening.
And last but not least, of course, is Leo York.
Hey, I'm a VP, podcaster, copywriter, and glad to be here. Glad to talk about some inventions.
All right, Cool, cool, cool. All righty. So we're going to talk about some inventions that kind of surround first of the year, January, winter, if you will, in history, and then some things in the news. But Leo, I think you've got the first one here to talk about.
Yeah, this is a really fun one, but also kind of an inspiring one. So, yeah, Samuel Leeds was a farm tool inventor in this really peculiar town that I initially thought was named after a spice, but turns out it's actually an Amerindian word, Cinnaminson Township. I was like, that's got to be
Hmm.
named after the spice, but no. Um, and this was he was born in the 19th century, the earlier side of the 19th century, like 1841, and it wasn't until really the 30s or 40s that he started conceptualizing his invention. And it sounds like such a modern product, the flexible flyer sled. And he was a big fan of the coasting is what they called it, which was the Victorian version of sledding. But at that time, you had to steer sleds with your heel. Like you just pretty much had to, it was kind of like roller skating. You had to jam your heel into the snow to change directions. And so he came up with this idea that, he's going to make this flexible flyer, and he patented it in 1889. It really didn't kick off until quite a bit later, as I'd mentioned. Um, he was making farm equipment, and he starts making sleds instead, something much more whimsical. And it not only did it kick off, like I didn't really until we started looking into this topic, I didn't really know that sleds were anything different. I mean, it's kind of like what a sled is now, like the capacity to actually steer it. It's not really, it's something that's so ubiquitous now that you just take for granted that people can steer them the way they currently can. But it was huge, huge, especially in the 40s. It reached kind of like a fever pitch of sales then, and that's really when it became uh, I would say fully replaced the previous iterations, excluding the occasional tobogganer, which that kind of highlights it. A sled beforehand was really like a toboggan, and now a toboggan's a toboggan, and this is a sled. So I want to know from you all, like as far as your thoughts on it, do you think that like working on farm implements helped, or you think it was completely unrelated? David Woods, so let's start with you. What's your take on that?
Oh, I think that probably had a lot to do with it because, now seeing, I've definitely ridden on those and had my fair share of spills. And always was fascinated by the way that that worked, that you're actually bending the fronts of the rails to turn. But that looks like the type of stuff that you would learn from, managing metal to make stuff. So without his other inventing, I think that that probably never would have happened.
Makes sense. No, absolutely. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
It had become ubiquitous and thus lose their trademark protection.
That's a good question. By the way, Kim, your mic is acting up quite a bit.
Yeah,
You sound kind of like a
I
speaking
can
spell.
barely
Oh,
hear you. Really can't
oh,
quite make it
sorry.
out.
No, no worries.
Looks loud enough. Carry on, Leo.
Oh, no, actually, you just got better. That being
Whatever you
said,
did.
I'll actually get to that in a second. Day, let's see.
Yeah,
In
I'm
terms
happy.
of the name,
Uh,
go for it.
Oh no, sorry, you're good.
Oh, funny enough, the question was actually going to be at you.
Oh,
What do you think of like the name in relation to the commercial success? I mean, flexible flyer. It's kind of catchy and it's kind of timeless, I would say. But do you think that helped, or do you think there'd be another way of branding it that would be better for the modern era? Or
yeah. I mean, branding's always a key part of everything. I'll also say
Mhm.
originally from Indiana, worked on a farm as I was growing up. It was always the side work,
Uh,
and every friend and family member I knew that worked on a farm was always a tinkerer. I mean, I think they always saw it as they were fixing stuff, but unless you had a lot of money, you fixed up your equipment, you kept things running. And so having that skill set and that culture of building, fixing, and doing things, solving problems, I think makes perfect sense why they would come up with this. And the branding
I
side, I think
fully
anything that's that smooth, like it just catchy to say, it's just friendly. It's harder and harder to come up with that now, but it just makes sense. And I'm really curious how the flexible flyer and radio flyer, those are very similar names. So
that
how
was
did
my
those
first
come
thought,
together?
actually. It's like yeah,
Sorry if I'm
100%.
jumping ahead.
No, no, no. That was a good observation, and I can also relate. I also grew up on a farm, and yeah, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention, and necessity rears its head every day in agriculture, and so you have to be able to modify things on a shoestring budget as they appear. No, full agreement there. And I'm going to save this one. Well, save it. I'm going to use it now for Kim because you had mentioned it. What do you think has led to this having such longevity as a product, Kim?
Utility, distribution,
Hmm?
pricing. I think that the elements of struggling to find the world, that brand, to me at least, element of risk, maybe a little danger. I think I remember jamming my one, I think one of my teeth into a snow plow and cracking a tooth. But
I know what's happening. I think your gesticulating is actually blocking the mic. I think that's it. Try
oh,
leaning into the mic and just talking into it.
oh, is that better now?
Oh,
Oh
Oh,
gosh,
100%.
yes.
Okay,
Oh,
that's
percent
okay.
it. That's it.
100%.
A new laptop with supposedly improved audio.
Well, that's
Um,
it. That's the thing. It's hearing this and it's like, oh, he's not talking right now. That's the deal.
anyway, I don't think I have anything to add. Inventions have a life cycle, and I would imagine that this is no different than tens or hundreds of thousands that meet a market at a moment with a distribution channel, pricing, functionality, and we all wish we had one. It's the secret of success.
No, 100%. Absolutely. Beyond that, yeah, that pretty much covers my end of things. I
All
just
right.
love that this guy made the modern sled, and I didn't realize it was the modern sled until looking into it.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. I wonder, you mentioned about the fact that, he had experience on a farm. And I've heard this before because we've been doing some programs the last few years, specifically in rural areas. And we see more just really great tech and great ideas and great innovations coming out of these areas now. And I just wonder if that's got something to do with it. That kind of lingered from, because there's a lot of innovators in rural areas that are just hiding in plain sight. That I think Leo and I have both seen. So yeah, I think you're
100%.
right. I think there's something to that. So might be a good segue from uh, farm implements and sleds uh, to aviation, believe it or not. So I want to talk to you a little bit about a company that actually developed something for the aircraft industry, and I'm going to pull it up right now. And this is Kelly Aerospace. So it was a little startup. Actually, it started off as North Coast Technology, and they got a grant from the SBIR. If you're not familiar with that, SBIR stands for the Small Business Innovation Research, and each government agency has a certain amount that they can grant for technologies for their area of expertise. And NASA had one, and they wanted to see if they could remove or prevent ice from forming on wings of smaller aircraft. And so, sure enough, they did. They developed something called the thermal wing, and it really helps de-icing. And they developed it through NASA and through this SBIR grant. And I don't say a lot about that here because that was quite, I think it was about 2005 they did this. There's a great story on NASA's site about it though. About and really if you want to get in an airplane, you really and it's wintertime and there's ice, you really want the wings not to freeze up. So this was a really cool thing. They had a research center with an icing research tunnel. Never heard of this before, and icing research aircraft. So they got to use that through the grant, and it actually helped them get it and take off with it. And then they got bought out by Kelly Aerospace Thermal Systems in Willoughby, Ohio, and they keep doing stuff like this today. I thought it was a really cool picture too. There's icing up on an actual aircraft, on an actual wing, looks like. Um, so so anyway, that just kind of begs some questions. What are you are with our featured guest tonight? Well, do you think they could have developed all this without the funding?
I'd say that that's probably one that would probably have needed the funding because there's a it's hard to one find a icing situation where you're actually not flying.
Right.
You really don't want to go up and try to get your wings to ice up and fail at de-icing them because you may not be coming down in one piece.
Very good point.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'll be the contrarian on this, in that just from what I've seen, uh, as I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs over the years now, it really, yes, the money made it better. It makes it something that it's even the SBIR and STTR are there to accelerate opportunities like this to make them happen faster. But I just the relentless pursuit of an idea and founders that just have to solve a problem, they tend to find ways. I would not put it past an entrepreneur to get into a small plane and try to ice it up a little bit just to see if it works. I wouldn't put it past them trying to make their own little ice tunnel. I've just seen
Yeah.
the people that are just relentless about solving an idea, and money can be used to accelerate and make things better. I just don't always see that as the problem. I think to me, it's not resources, it's resourcefulness that really carries through. And so I tend to vote on the side that if they were that passionate about it, they would have found a way. And without the funding, they still could have had partnerships with NASA. They could have still brought ideas. But I'm thankful that these programs exist because it's things like this that make things happen. We have a very cool story of the Tennessee Inventor of the Year a couple of years ago was from our area, and they just happened to pick up the phone and talk to somebody at the Department of Defense, and it was a medical device of all things. And he read an article, and next thing you know, they're having conversations. They've got deals, and then they were able to move it much faster because of SBIR funding. And so, yeah, that's my
Well, David,
perspective, just different way of thinking about it.
yeah, David, I think you make a great point with that, though. Not everybody gets a grant. And you're absolutely right. It's great when they get them. We've worked with, and shameless plug here. We've been doing a lot of work with SBIR programs. We're actually going to be rolling out some new ones very soon. But we've had the opportunity to help a lot of teams with SBIRs. We've really kind of got to learn that and kind of sharpen the tools in our toolbox for that. But that being said, and it's great when they get them, and it's great when a startup gets funding. But sometimes I do think the money does get in the way. And I've seen that happen before where it's like, oh, we've got plenty of money. Let's spend it and make all these big mistakes. Well, when you're starting as a startup, a scrappy startup, you keep your risks smaller because they're more inexpensive risks. And I think you're right. I think the resourceful ones, they become resourceful. Okay, we can't buy an ice tunnel. So let's see if we can figure out how to make one with what we got. And I agree with that totally. And we've seen that too, actually. Yeah, the
Yeah.
money's
Yeah.
great if you can get it. You just got to act like you don't have it, I think. So
Yeah, actually, I'll double down on that. I've seen too many startups that solve problems with money. I
yeah,
did that in
Hmm.
past companies too, and it's the same thing. You run out of money really fast.
you do.
And I wouldn't put it past an entrepreneur to go sneak into a wind tunnel somehow and make it work. But
I got a great story, but I can't tell it online.
sure. Well, Don, with your experience in SBIR, is it right that it's about 10 to 20% is the acceptance rate? I
I
know it's
think
really
so. I
low.
think it varies by
Okay.
agency. Leo might
Sure,
be able
sure.
to chime in on this.
That's pretty accurate though. Like, yeah, the agencies do tend to differ. We've seen a lot more people have higher end success with DoD, for example, than
Hmm.
NSF. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it just depends on what their specialty is too. So,
Sure, that makes sense.
but no, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a great program. I think anybody can go
Oh
after it
yeah,
should try, but if only 10 or 20% are getting funded, how are all these others still making it happen? And so, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, you
Oh
got to
yeah.
have multiple possible streams of revenue. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
So what do you all think? You think it's better to have a large impact type of product on a small market or a small impact on a large market? Uh,
Hmm.
is it better to be niche or is it better to, you know, and my feeling here is that if you're in, well, we used to have one of our inventors, actually, he's a very successful, prolific inventor, did a lot of different products, and he always used to say there's riches and niches. And he liked the niche. He did well in the niche, but maybe that's good, maybe not. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that it can go either way. That I often think back to a Shark Tank episode that I saw. The guy they were making I forget exactly what it is, some sort of a skateboard, I believe, a very high end, and they were making a large impact on a small market, and they were selling these skateboards for ridiculous amounts of money.
Hmm.
And the sharks said, and but they were trying to get into Walmart. And the shark said, "You're
Uh,
an idiot. Just stick with what you're doing." You know? So
How,
just
you can win big in a small market.
yeah.
I mean, it's great when you can get a big Walmart, but I've heard a lot of nightmare scenarios about
Oh yeah, you can you
getting,
can you can get killed in Walmart.
yeah,
As far as business wise, I mean.
right.
yeah.
So uh,
Very true.
Yeah.
Very
I
true.
think a lot of it comes down to not just the product, but the person's personality. I think those both play roles. Because I've seen people with really, really big impact products try, like David Woods just remarked, to turn it into something that's more broad appeal. And conversely, I've seen people with really, really uh, widespread products and they try to turn it into something that's really elegant and refined for a specific market, but it doesn't necessarily cater to their strengths as a company or as a founder. So I
Mhm.
think that it really depends on the scenario for the individual, like more so than almost anything.
Yeah.
One of the worst things I can hear from an inventor or an entrepreneur is when they come in all excited about their product and they always say, and everybody's going to want to buy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I I agree with everything that's been said. It's very, insightful, and it's it's interesting when you're thinking about your ideas. Sometimes I think you also have to consider what's the likelihood. I mean, if you're trying to bring electric cars to the market, no one's doing it, or you're trying to do cold fusion, no one's doing it. Like, there's things out there that may change the world, and then you might just make a whole lot of people's lives better and easier. And it doesn't mean it something can't grow and be something bigger, but if you're, and also, what do you want out of it? I think that's the other piece. A lot of entrepreneurs kind of get into the Hollywoodification of what startups and, building a product is. And at the end of the day, they don't want to be a CEO that sits in meetings all day and hires people and never does the product. And you got to really realize if you're going to go really big, it's going to be a big company. And is that really what you want? And if you're, I like niche software. That's been my background forever. I like finding the market that's underserved. You're kind of disrupting a pen and paper if you can, whatever it is, and just solving a really key problem. Um, and it's just fun because you get to be really close to your customers. I'm not worried about supporting millions of people. It's, if you have a few thousand, you're good. That's great. If you have a few hundred, maybe you're good. That's even better. And really, it's what you want out of it too. I think that's really important that people miss out on instead of thinking, I want to create the next Walmart. Well, do you really? I mean, do you really
You
want to
know,
do that?
David, when you said that, I remembered the story of Dean Kamen and the Segway.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
great
a good
book
story.
out there, and I've
Yeah.
probably recommended it too many times, but I really love it. It's called
Mhm.
Reinventing the Wheel. I think another version title was Codename Ginger, but if you can find it, it's cheap
Yeah,
book now. It's been around for about 20 years, but
yeah,
it's a great book because it just follows the whole story of how they
yeah.
raised all this money and oh, this was going to change the way
Mhm.
people got around forever. And
Mhm.
I think they still use them on city tours, but
Mm.
you don't
The
Yeah,
really
mall
bigger
see a
cities.
lot
cops.
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mall cops. I mean, everyone here seen the movie Wall-E?
Yeah.
I just think of all the people that no longer walk and they just zoom around everywhere. And ever since I saw the
Right.
Segway, I'm like, they're trying to create Wall-E. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
like, we don't need to walk
Yeah.
anymore. We're just going to zoom around.
I don't know how many of you have actually ridden a Segway, but
I haven't.
my wife and I did this once, and it actually takes a lot more effort than you might think. Our legs
Mm.
were really quite sore after riding around on one for an hour because you're operating by tilting your feet, so you're using muscles that you don't normally use. So it's not as effortless as you might think.
Yeah. I can
So,
I
honestly say I
contribute.
wrecked a Segway in
yeah.
Disney World. So, yeah, they had a little
I
demo
was just
area
going
for
to add.
Segways, and I went down hard. It was not a fun thing to fall off of.
Wow.
I was being dumb too and having fun as a dumb high school kid, but wow, or I guess a college kid. But yeah, I only did that once.
I think
Yeah,
entrepreneurs
same
also
thing
have
for
to.
same thing for the new owner of the Segway, that the one that bought it off of Dean Kamen. He died because there was a battery glitch, and he was at the edge of a cliff when it happened, and it dumped him over the cliff.
Yeah,
I forgot
So,
about
yeah, I
that.
forgot about that
Oh,
too.
yeah.
wow.
That's wild. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes under the whole thing of inventions that killed their inventors. I think there's like a whole segment of
Mm.
that somewhere.
I'm sure.
We should do
Certainly.
that one night, Leo.
Yeah, full agreement.
We probably won't have any of those people on as guests, though, I'm assuming.
That's
No,
fair, yeah.
no, it's
Yeah.
You might be interested
probably
in the
not.
infernal machine. If you haven't heard of the infernal machine, it's about the discovery of dynamite. Uh,
Yes, Alfred
Oh,
fascinating.
Nobel, and yeah, that is a
Yeah.
really good story.
And I was going to add another element in entrepreneurship is scale and hiring, or I should say, attracting investors. Because if you lose control, and
yeah,
that was part of what you
Mhm.
enjoyed about the invention, it's no longer fun.
yeah,
And I've had the
Yeah.
experience where we've raised some money, not that much, but enough to attract an investor who suddenly wanted to run the business the
yeah.
way they wanted to run the business. And
Hmm.
if your business is mission driven, you have to balance that between, a balance sheet and the impact. Um, so there's something to be said about raising money and losing control if you want to scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah,
I can
I
say from my
totally
experience
agree.
with
Go
as
ahead, David.
well, investors, they all say they don't want to run the business. And I would say most of them don't, but they want to tell you how you should run the business,
Yeah,
even if they
Oh
don't have
yeah.
full control.
they
And it
want to
is a
run it
different
by
ball game.
proxy.
Yeah, different ball game bringing on capital. So it's
Mhm.
something you have to be real careful with.
Absolutely. Goodness. All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. I think Eugenia, you're up.
Can you share the screen so
I
I can
certainly
introduce
can.
everyone to Miss Mary Anderson?
Absolutely.
She is credited with inventing the first windshield wiper. I'd like to give a
Ah,
shout out to my father. I don't know how many of you learned from your dad when you needed to replace your windshield wipers. I have an ear for windshield wipers that need to be replaced, so I really enjoyed learning about Miss Mary Anderson here. This picture is from 1910, and she thought of her invention 10 years previously in 1900. She died in 53. So just to give you a timeline in terms of born in the late 1800s, died in 1953. And I think she represents a cautionary tale for a lot of inventions. She was credited with being the first to file. She was a little bit ahead of her time because she was riding in a vehicle. There was a problem in that they had to manually take care of the windshield. The issue was there just weren't a lot of cars around at the time. She tried to license it and sell it to a Canadian company, and they said, we just don't really see this as a big problem. She did get her patent. She's credited for being someone who had the vision for it and she followed it up with it. Her patent was granted in 1903. Her patent number, I always love to do this. Her patent number was 743,801. Just to put that in context, 2 years ago, we surpassed 12 million patents in this country. I've always said for me, when I went to an all-day training put on by the United States Patent and Trademark Office, they passed out information and they had an example patent, and it was around, I think it was like 11.9 million or something. And I said to myself, somebody's passing out patents. I think I can get one of these. And so for those of you who have patents, I hope that patent number is special to you because I love seeing hers being 743,000. So that's all the fun stuff about Mary. What ended up happening, as I told you, she didn't make any money off of it. There's the drawing. It was a mechanical, it was a lever. You would have to do it from the inside. It was not automatic. It was the Cadillacs. I think it was in the 1920s. The Cadillacs started doing an automatic windshield wiper. And does anybody know when the rear windshield wiper became common? What decade? 1970s.
I would have thought it would have been later.
Yeah,
Same.
and so I want to tell you, I found it interesting. David Nelson, you really got me when you said it's not resources, it's resourcefulness. Okay, because let me tell you what I picked up on when I was reading about Mary. I was reading this and I was like, okay, in 1900, she went to New York City and she rode in a car that was not common. I was thinking, I think she has some money. And then she filed the patent. That takes money. We all know how much money that takes. Interestingly, the reason why she was in New York City, her rich aunt passed away and she had an inheritance. So I really think in her case, David, that she had some resources at her disposal. The other thing that I noticed is she didn't invent anything else, but she was an entrepreneur and she ran a winery in California. So that was probably like her next big thing.
Mhm.
The questions portion of this, do any of you think that Mary was just ahead of her time? Why did she never make a dime off of her invention?
Well, if I could just jump in too, I think you're definitely right that money is a advantage. and it may not have happened with that. But I'd also, this raises a lot of questions. I think this is an even cooler story because I'm curious how many women in the early 1900s got a patent or ran a business. I remember my grandmother, and long ago, like she would drive a truck around and wear blue jeans, and people were appalled. And so I can't imagine how many things she had to get through to be able to do these things. That's even more inspiring and amazing. And so I bet if there's digging, there's a lot of resourcefulness there too. I'm just gonna bet on that one. But I definitely agree, money would not, without money, and that's the thing, without money, none of this happens. You have to be able to do anything, but I'm not sure it's always the end all. It doesn't mean that it's not needed.
Mhm.
And I
What was
forgot,
your grandmother's name, David?
Gladys, Gladys Overton. Yeah, she was awesome.
Mhm.
And what was your question too? Sorry, I kind of hijacked
Was she
that.
just ahead of her time?
Oh yeah. I mean, it to me sounds like it. Like I have not read about very many women. There's a woman in our area when I did some research for TED Talk here about the history of innovation in Appalachia. There's a woman who basically was invented such great black powder that people came from all over, and she helped basically win the Civil War or certain Civil War battles because her black powder was so powerful. And like she was the inventor, and there's a whole story that goes along with that. I'll happily send it out to all of you because it's a really cool story too. And her name's Mary too, which is it's also in the name.
Mhm.
So Eugenia, sounds like she was not, maybe not a serial inventor, but she was a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, she definitely was. I like it also that she's from Alabama and she had a summer home in Tennessee, and that's where she ended up dying. I don't know when she was out in California. I know it was later. Her patent expired 17 years after she filed it. Do you think she had a recourse after her patent expired?
Mm. I mean, it kind of sounds like there was a workaround with, a more modernized version. So I think really the only thing she could have done would have been to build off of who built off of what she had, um, which is doable, but, I mean, it's a lot more work, that's for sure.
And I wonder if she just hadn't just moved on, moved past that one, and
Mm.
it's like, hey, I'm going to get into winery now. And for all we know, she could have come up with some innovations with the winery. Maybe she didn't even
Mhm.
bother to patent. She just used in her own business.
Mhm.
It's purely speculative too, but it's easy to get if you go you do all this work, you get a patent, you do all these things, and nothing comes from it, you don't make money. It can be very easy to be kind of frustrated or think that's not a viable way. There's a lot of inventors and entrepreneurs that go down a path and go, that doesn't work. So they just completely go down a whole different path and they find something that works. So that, who knows? That could very well be part of it too.
And that I like more than the Captain Ahabs who just keep beating that dead horse forever
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
it's at least preferable.
Yeah. Or the hybrid of that, where it's like, I'm not going to keep going in the same, it's the, what do they call it? Was it Albert Einstein? The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over
Over and over,
and
expecting a
expecting a
different
different
result.
result. But in 1917, let's say she still wanted to do it, but if she had like, okay, well, this is patented, this is expired, let me come up with the next whatever version of the windshield wiper because I think timing was her biggest enemy. It's like it was just way too early. And but all of a sudden everybody had cars in 1920, and that's when they kind of took off. She could have possibly done it. I always think of the lady with the miracle mop. Um, uh,
Joy Mangano.
Joy
Joy
Mangano.
Mangano, thank you. So a lot of people know her story. We do the movie on her on Inventor Entrepreneur Night at the Movies. But the one thing a lot of people don't know about is that on the 20th anniversary of her patenting the Miracle Mop, she came out with the Miracle Mop 2.0. And I always love that because I'd see her present it. It's a 20th anniversary. We've got a brand new mop. It's all different now. And I thought, I know what's happened. Her patent expired, and she already had this thing loaded, locked, and loaded, and ready to launch. And of course, she cleaned up with that one too. So I think there can be a recourse if you want one, but usually it's not the direction you think it's going to go. It's usually it's got to be something different.
I suppose it doesn't hurt to mention, just for those that may or may not have heard it, there's a movie out, Flash of Genius, which came
Oh,
out
yes.
a while ago, which also deals with windshield wipers. It's the intermittent windshield wiper, and that's with oh gosh, what is his
Greg
name?
Kinnear.
Robert Kearns, that
Oh,
got
Greg
ripped
Kinnear.
off by Ford
Mm.
on that.
Mm.
He ultimately did get restitution, but he died in the process.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
um,
It's yeah, and we probably need to do that one again. I think that might have been one of the very first night at the movies we ever did. We've not done it in a while, but and I don't know. Well, David, I guess you've seen the movie
mhm.
because he just keeps going. He reminds me of the definition of exactly what Leo said, and that's the Captain Ahab syndrome. I won't give it up. I won't give it up. I won't. They offered him how much in the beginning? It was like $30 million to just settle,
Mm.
or
And what
it
year
was three
was
million
that
dollars in
too?
1960. I forget, but it was a lot of money in
Uh,
1960. And my thought was, hey, take the money, go across the street and invent the next intermittent something else. There's a lot you can do with $3 million in 1960. So
Yeah, I was stunned, and maybe I'm just plain naive, but I rented a car recently and it rained, and I turned on the windshield wiper, and it just wiped a little bit because it was very intermittent rain. And then as it started raining harder, it started wiping harder. I didn't do anything. And I was going, "Hey, when did this happen?" Because that's the first time I've ever driven in a car that had a windshield wiper with a sensor, which obviously is the next thing after an intermittent wiper, is to, figure out how much it is raining.
do you,
So
do
I
you
don't know
keep
how long
cars for
that's.
a long time, Dave?
What's that?
Do you keep hang on to cars for a long time?
Yeah, the
Yep,
current
me
car I
too.
have is 12 years old or something like that.
Yeah, I
So,
like to run them till
but,
they fall apart.
yeah.
my
And
backup camera is
most of
my
the time when
neck.
I rent a
Yeah.
car, it's not raining. So,
Maybe a Volvo. I think I had a Volvo that did that 10 years ago.
yeah.
Really?
Really?
And
Wow.
so I'm just got my blinders on.
Yeah, when I got I the last time I got a car, because the last one literally the wheels fell off. And I thought, okay, it's time for another car. It was a newer car, it had backup, backup stuff, heated seats, and I thought, I don't want all this. I don't need all this. This is great. I'll tell you, this winter, I've liked that heated seat and heated steering wheel really, really well. A lot more than I thought
Yeah.
I would.
So the good news for Miss Mary Anderson is she is credited for inventing the windshield wiper, and she is in the Inventors Hall of Fame
Yeah.
posthumously in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Cool,
awesome.
cool.
That's a cool
All
story.
right.
Great story.
Leo, I think you got the next one. We're moving
Oh
on to the
yeah.
news. Something a little more.
Yes. We're dealing with something that I would not have much need for here in Kentucky for the most part, but out where he came up with it at the University of Minnesota, I could totally see this being phenomenal and revolutionary. So, he was a college student at U of M, Max Minikov, and he basically came up with, and this is how I would have described it, but this is how he described it, a snowblower Roomba. And I think that's neat just on the grounds that he came up with this because he hated shoveling snow, which is kind of where the Roomba comes in too. It's, people don't want to vacuum, Roomba. People don't want to shovel snow, this thing. So that alone is cool. So he pitched this while he was at college, and he actually won a competition that I actually hadn't heard of, the Minnesota Cup. And he got 26K, He named it the Nevoso, which is snowy in Latin, and that's really good branding as well. And it also sounds almost like a Harry Potter spell. But well, we're talking about a pretty big price tag, though. He made 26K in seed funding. The actual device is 12K, so considerably more expensive than a Roomba. When Roombas came out on the scene, they were like, I want to say 150 bucks, and people scoffed at that. Now that's just a regular vacuum price. But what's there's a good reason why, though. I mean, this is a complicated device. I mean, it has a model that you can mount into a truck cabin. It's got a long range remote controller to operate it. It can be monitored through live stream, which all makes sense because, and I will be asking folks about what they think with regard to the potential danger that it might pose. But I'm just really wowed that somebody came up with this because I've seen mower iterations of this. I've seen automated versions of a lot of things, but this is one where instead of saving time and effort, it probably is helping people not get exposed to the cold or just saying I'm going to do a halfway job on this and then having car issues and maybe even getting injured. So I think this could ultimately be revolutionary. And obviously, this isn't for your average homeowner anyway. This would be phenomenal for, say, someone who's starting a business doing that. And that's my favorite kind of product anyway, a product that can lead to more businesses taking advantage of that product. So yeah, that's I just think that's a really, really cool innovation. And I hope that this dude really takes off. It's currently something that's on the market and he's scaling it out. He wants it to be in every hardware store. And I'm wishing him the best of luck on that. It's actually reading about him. I've never bought a Roomba despite being very lazy, and I think I might pull the trigger this year just on the grounds that it kind of made me think I'm overdue for it. Um, but that begs the questions for you guys. In terms of danger, you think that this could pose some risks that people aren't looking at?
I'm
Or
assuming
no?
that it's got object avoidance and things like that built into it. I mean, it would
Yeah.
have to in order. I mean, there's no way you could let it go out if it's going to run somebody over.
Mm,
But with any technology, you run into problems of what goes on. I think we had some of that show up tonight. So even
very
though you've
true.
been doing
Absolutely.
it for years, it still doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so, um,
No,
but
that's a good
and
point.
we're dealing with that with autonomous cars right now.
Mm,
Yeah,
that's a good
Yeah,
point too. Yeah,
true.
I've
these are
seen
so. Oh, go for it.
I've seen the Yarbo, which is another one. It's like $2,500, a lot smaller. I mean, this one looks like a lot more robust, probably a lot more capable. The other one's kind of the robotic lawnmower with a snowblower attachment, and I wasn't
Mm,
super impressed with that. And so this one just seems like it's robust, can actually do a lot more, which is exciting. And the safety side of it, I guess I'd be more worried about pets, but also after a
ooh,
whole bunch
hadn't
of
thought of
snow
that.
is out there, what's going to happen? And I think there's a lot of technology you could put in place that if something gets into the brush, it stops. I mean, just it's going to need some testing and see what happens for sure.
Yeah.
But when I lived up in
If
Indiana, this would have been great.
mm. Well,
You
there's
know,
always silver linings, even to the negatives. It could be used if it ends up being bad for pets. You could use it to just round up squirrels in your
There you
neighborhood.
go. Yeah. You have a chipmunk problem? Here's your summer usage.
Rural
yeah,
roundup.
that's one thing I was wondering is where do you store that in the summer? That's like
Mm,
parking another car. So,
yeah. Well, in
um,
Minnesota, I imagine it's probably worth the space. They probably keep it in the living room.
Yeah, it's probably nine months of the year it's working. So
Yeah.
right. Yeah. My brother lives in the remote Montana area, and that probably wouldn't work for him because when he gets snow, it's 2 feet deep.
Wow.
Uh,
well, I
and,
think they use this for tunnels probably. It just digs a little
yeah.
tunnel for you to walk through.
There you
Right.
go.
Yeah. He actually has a skid loader with a blower on it that he
Oh,
uses.
yeah.
So because he's got about a mile of driveway.
Um,
Anyway,
Yeah. Not living
so.
there.
he's an ideal candidate
Yeah,
for this
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
he can keep it. I'm
Yeah.
fine here in Florida. So I left shoveling snow a long time ago.
Do you guys think that people who do like what's I almost said pave, shovel driveways actually as a business, do you think they'll be eager to adopt this?
I think if someone can figure out how to get a fleet of those and deploy them, that could work really well. But then you're going to need, I don't know what the status is on replaceable batteries on that because the recharge cycle is going to kill them. So, of
It's a good point. Yeah, I know people in that
course,
industry, and one of their biggest obstacles is the human element, like finding people to do that kind of work. So if you can automate it, I mean, the price tag's pretty high, but it's probably worth what you'd pay somebody to do that work and struggle finding them.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised that someone might possibly pay a little bit more to have a robot shovel their driveway for them just because of the, I don't know if you want to call it right now anyhow, the status factor. But
Oh yeah, yeah, the Captain
yeah, you
Kirk
know, it's
appeal.
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's literally why I have
I've
a
got the
trash
cool
can that
thing running.
opens when I lay my hand over it. It was worth the price tag just to feel like Captain Kirk when I throw stuff away.
Yeah.
Did you
Somebody was, oh, sorry, go for it.
did you mention the price on that unit?
Yes, it's 22 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Or sorry, 12 grand, 12 grand.
Well,
So
even at that,
still,
that's still a lot.
still a lot. Yeah, I mean, it's an ATV that you only use to not have fun, but you know, at least you're not being miserable outside
Yeah.
doing that work.
Well,
So
shoveling snow is fun. I think it just depends on the snow.
there you go.
Right.
That's true.
Oh man.
And wet stuff is
And
nasty.
and lastly, I think we kind of have an answer. Would you get one for your driveway?
I'd say
I know the answer.
absolutely not.
It's unanimous. No, yeah, you're in flipping Florida.
Dave
Um,
Woods says, yeah, I know what your answer is going to be.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't even know if we have enough snow in Kentucky to
nah,
justify it.
I don't know,
I
but
don't think so.
we got a hell of a
A
lot.
lawnmower attachment.
Mm, there you
Actually, we
go.
know somebody that's got a remote control lawnmower.
Yeah,
One of our
it's really
folks
flipping
has
cool.
that.
I had met some people across the lake from us that when I was visiting their house, they had three remote control lawnmowers all running at the same time.
Wow.
And they are a pretty large, it's like a acre and a half lot. And they said that they basically just keep them running all week because it takes that long to mow the lawn.
They just need a tractor. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
wild.
You know what you don't see them
So-
do? You don't see them out there mowing the yard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Just a
And this was
robot.
more of a Roomba style, one of those early
Yep.
ones where they just do random passes
Oh.
around. This,
Mm.
it's this is just the weirdest looking lawn I've ever seen.
That is true.
They've gotten really advanced. I've looked at them. I'm on almost
Yeah.
7 acres, so I'm not getting one, but
Mm.
not yet anyway. But I would do it if I wasn't crazy. But it's a friend has them, and they have it where they go in and with GPS based, and it has LiDAR on it and goes through and it does patterns. You can stripe your lawn with them. I mean, it's amazing the stuff it has on it now, and they can be very precise too. Some require sensors out, poles and other things, but it's getting really advanced for robotic lawn mowing.
David, you just discovered the reason behind crop circles.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah.
Kim, you're in the northernmost area. Yeah.
Oh, Indianapolis.
Would you have one?
No,
Nope.
we had 3 inches of snow all last year. I don't know that we're gonna. I mean,
Oh, that's not
I
bad.
don't know that it's
Yeah,
random.
we got more than
and
you.
I don't expect enough. I drive through what little snow we have. It doesn't look too good for a few days. Then it gets warmed up and melts. So I'm not
That's
a
maybe
prospect.
why.
Oh, that's
How many of you shovel your driveways after a first snow?
No,
Yeah,
just
I just wait
salt.
for it to warm up.
Broadcast salt.
I like to wait till the land gets nice and hard, so it's like really difficult to. No.
Yeah, my dad, we had to get out and shovel.
Yeah.
Mm.
Growing up, I remember in
To this
Indiana.
day, this day, when it snows, I just think, oh, I should be out there shoveling snow.
Well, that's when I was in Wisconsin. That's the way it was. Is that if it snowed, we wanted to get out there before even anyone set foot on it. because that way you don't get that stuff that's packed down. And so, and of course, there were three of us boys, so we had a lot of shovels going.
Yeah. I mean, went to Purdue University and up that way, that far north, a lot of college students did go around and knock on doors to shovel for cash and things like that. And when it hit, it hit. But Indiana was also famous for its ice, and I would take snow over ice any day for sure.
I'm with you on
Yeah,
that.
100%. But yeah, that covers my segment.
All right, Eugenia, I think you're up next.
So we're going to do a 180 here. We're going to talk about fingernail polish. This is crazy, Dawn. I don't know how you find these topics. I'm going to let you at first, if you don't mind, will you share the clip from Total Recall? I don't know if everybody has seen this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he goes into space. Well, it's about space. I do not remember that clip from the movie. I think Total Recall was from like 89, 90 maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the original,
And
they
if you
remade
can
it
go
too.
to the website for eye polish, eye being small, of course, we're going to have right here the exact same thing we just saw. You can, yeah, go ahead and show
How
them.
have they not been sued by Apple?
True. These are $90. They are press-on nails, and you can literally change the color of them through technology. So they last anywhere from 3 days to 7 days, $90 a pop. I looked up how much is it. I don't get my nails done, but it is expensive, but that it lasts longer. If you were to get your nails done, it's around anywhere from $60 to $90, and you have to get them done at least 2 to 3 weeks. And this is a price point that represents that, but it's significantly less. I would say at least 75% less in terms of the lasting of it. However, if you want to scroll down, Dawn, there's definitely, I believe, an appeal to an industry that wants to have something cutting edge or new. But if you click on the polish kit, the first, yeah, if you click on that, that's going to tell you you can pre-order it. So it's not necessarily available yet.
Hmm.
But
They
this
got a
was,
provisional.
this is fascinating to me because it is the science fiction for sure. When we were talking about the snowblower and you were talking about robots, my favorite robot of all time is Rosie from the Jetsons. And I still want, it's not Judy, it's Jane, the mother. I still want that ability to just have my makeup put on. But my fingernails, I don't have to have technology to do that. So do you think that this product was inspired by that movie Total Recall? I hope all of you have seen that movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see how it wouldn't be from that.
Yeah,
You know,
same.
it's funny. That's when they said that when I first saw this, and they launched this at CES like this week. So this is like brand new technology. And January is always fun because we can cover CES topics, and that's this one really kind of jumped out. But it's funny. I thought of Total Recall before I heard that it was even had anything to do with the movie. I immediately connected because I remembered that scene really, really well. I remember when I watched it, as a rerun when I was 5, uh, because it just jumped out. I thought, oh, what a neat technology. gee, I wish they could do that, but I guess they probably couldn't. But here it is.
Great
Have you all
feed.
looked at how it works? I mean, I don't get the little light thing changing the color. That just like, I don't know. It seems strange.
Right. To me, it makes you think of the mood ring stone
Mhm.
Yeah.
and how just temperature will change it. So I don't really understand how something that has that clay color
Mhm.
can absorb that. But the other thing, just so you know, if anybody wants to rush out and get on the wait list for these, they are not reusable. Um,
Mhm.
now I will buy a false eyelash, okay? And I have a feeling everybody on this live stream tonight, there's might be a few of us that know about the false eyelash industry, but they will do the magnetic lashes, and those are around $100 a pop. And don't waste your money.
Mhm.
Is that for each eye, or is that both?
But for two eyes, yeah, and um they clasp, but you still have to get a certain product on there that makes it stick better.
Hmm.
But when I saw these fingernails, it made me think about the eyelashes in terms of a price point. But the difference is those eyelashes will last for 30 to 40 wears. Now, for me, I wore them once and lost it because it didn't stay on. So the people that sell that on these platforms, they were just selling it. And I was a sucker. I bought it. But now these fingernails, no, I'm not going to buy it. But Don has a really good question for us in terms of thinking, what do you think they're really selling? Novelty, convenience, or something else? When you said CES, Don, I'm not familiar. What is
Oh,
that?
Consumer
Consumer.
Electronics Show. It's
Okay.
the big electronics show in Vegas, right, Leo?
Yeah, it's basically like you referenced the Jetsons. It makes you
Yeah.
feel like we're not that far away from it every year.
Yeah, somehow not that much closer either.
Yeah, yeah.
For
It's
some
funny how
reason.
that works.
Why is that?
Yeah. I love to share this story, especially in terms of Total Recall, the Jetsons, and then my other favorite movie for science fiction is I, Robot.
Mhm.
But really, the best thing for me was in seventh grade when I read in my science book that I was going to choose as an adult if I was going to live on the moon in a colony or on Earth. Because I was very stressed out as a seventh grader because I was like, I'm going to have to live on the moon. Because I knew I always had to choose the path that was least chosen.
Well,
So far, I haven't had to worry about my moon suit. Okay.
there is still time.
Still plenty of time for that.
There is
They're
still
working on
time.
that.
Oh.
I didn't know that Elon, fun fact for me, I was born in the same year as Elon and
Interesting.
Snoop Dogg. I like my stock. So that's the fingernail story. I'll
Yeah,
pass it down.
I'm kind of leaning towards novelty because it just jumps out as this is super cool. I wonder how many people would buy one once and then like, yeah, this really isn't worth the trouble. Kind of like the
Yeah,
eyelashes you were talking about.
I don't know. I've
I
seen
think
some
it.
pretty elaborate fingernails. So
Mhm.
the
I can
the
see it being like their initial entry market being like well-to-do celebs and models for galas and things like that. And then maybe they'll pare it down over time and it just becomes normal. I don't know though.
yeah. Well, the next step is the actual moving image in the fingernails. That's what they got to fix
Mm,
up next.
that would be cool.
And it's probably not far from being able to do that. So, but it won't be $90.
Not at
No.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say for the nail industry, it is very trendy.
Mm.
It
Interesting.
just, there's so many trends. And like
Yeah, I remember those
eyelashes, it's
bubble
just pretty
nails. Those were
much,
gross. The
Well,
weird, the ones with the
yeah,
BBs under them. Ugh.
yeah.
Don, to your question too, though, I
Obviously,
think to me it all depends on how many true early adopters exist in this market. Somebody that's going to buy something to be in there, and I don't know what that number is for this. I mean, it's very tech-ish, but it's also has style components and everything else. I think if you have enough early adopters, you can get. I mean, brought up Tesla and Elon, like Tesla started with a Roadster that would only certain people, few people could buy, but it made enough money to then continue development, get the investment, grow, and head towards a quest for a regular sedan that they still haven't released yet. But they say they're going to. But like this idea that the electric car for everyone. But would you be where they are today without the Roadster? And
Yeah.
so it's easy to discount a product, but like if this is the first one, it's expensive, it's not super reusable. Like you can't really judge the future of a product on that if there's
Sure.
enough early stage adopters.
Yeah.
well, you
Get
get
enough early
huge
stage adopter, and
tax
all of a
incentive.
sudden Dave's right, and we're watching TikTok videos on our fingernails.
Does anybody have the Meta glasses yet?
No.
I've
Not yet.
seen, I knew somebody had an early Google Glass, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
I got LASIK like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and I last thing I want to do is start wearing glasses again. Like to me, that's just insane. I know I'll have to do it to read sometime soon, but like I'm not going back to glasses. Now, I will say, have you done the Vitcher XR glasses? It's like the digital screen glasses.
No.
So it's almost feels like sunglasses, but it puts a giant screen in front of you and it plugs into your laptop. And I will say, even though it's probably super dorky because they're kind of thick glasses, when you're on a plane and you're trying to work for like on a 6 hour, 8 hour flight, it is amazing because you just have your laptop bent over, you don't have anything, you just have a full screen wherever you look, and you have your laptop keyboard right in front of you. Amazing, and that's more XR. It's not augmented reality. It's just a screen. It's like a wireless screen, 120 or 136-inch screen. They just came out with some new ones of those at CES that I would think about upgrading if I was flying more, but I still take them every time I fly.
They should rent them.
Oh, they should. That's actually now there is a business idea. I think I have them. I think I have them right here if you want to see them.
You rent them on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that'd be
exactly.
nice.
Yeah,
Here's
instead of handing out
this is what they
the
look
cheap
like.
earphones.
Huh.
That gives you a
Wow.
120-degree or 120-inch screen.
That
So
is
they're kind of
Straight
really
thicker
on,
on the
they
cool.
just
back.
kind of look like sunglasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just kind of thick and weird, so they kind of stick out from your head, and they just have one little magnetic cable on this side that's a USB-C, goes straight down to your laptop or whatever and works. And so
Wow.
they're
So it's
for
not
travel,
wireless, huh?
not wireless. Although they have like a piece where it connects to like a neck thing if you want to watch movies and stuff wirelessly, sort of wirelessly, but yeah, I think the refresh rate's just too slow when you're traveling with it.
Yeah.
So someday, probably.
Yeah.
That is
Oh yeah.
cool.
Like you said,
But they're also powered from your
first one
laptop,
out.
so you don't have extra batteries or any other things.
Yeah.
So no meta glasses,
It's
but I'll take
basically a
those.
monitor that you wear.
Yeah, monitor you wear.
Huh.
And you can have it where it stays still and the head tracks around, like the monitor's there, or you can have it wherever you look. So if you're laying on your back, it works that way too. But to me, I got them just for when I was flying a lot. Now I
Wow.
don't fly as much anymore, so haven't used them a whole bunch. But
That
Cool.
is really cool.
Mhm.
Oh, and it's compatible with the Switch. Huh.
Mhm.
Man, I kind of wish I had this before a flight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For real.
Yeah. Telling you, and they have a great deal on the ones I have right now. So I wish I
Mm,
got a commission on that because I feel like I've been telling everybody. But
nice.
Cool.
Did you
Cool.
mention how much they cost?
yeah, what's the new price? Like I think when I got them, they were like $399 or $499, something like that. They were expensive, but now
I noticed
the
a lot of
cheapest one's $284 for the Pro XR. So
And
284.
$550 for the
Rent them for
beast.
$75.
where you can find them.
Yeah.
Are they on pre-order on? That's what I kept seeing on CES products they were launching. It was like everybody was doing pre-orders,
Mhm.
which I
Yeah.
thought, okay,
The
that's
beast is
smart.
pre-order.
Hmm.
Yeah, it looks like
Really
the
interesting.
new ones start at 399. If that's what you just said. Sorry. Yeah. I bet a lot of people will be selling the old ones for the new ones too. So
Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, and
very cool.
the eye polish was worked. They wouldn't really reveal a lot, but I think they said it worked on an electric charge.
hmm.
Hmm.
I'm just so curious on the tech of that because like
Yeah, I am
Yeah,
too. I don't think
same.
they were really
I mean if it's chemical
showing a
reaction, I mean you're
lot.
talking about paint you could change the paint of your car, you could do all kinds of things long
Yeah.
term, but like I mean how cool you decide what color your car is and you just back out and it's a different car. I mean
What'd you say the longevity of them were, Eugenia?
3 to 10 days.
3 to 10 days. Yeah. Maybe that's why.
yeah.
It's like, okay, you can have
Mm.
this, but 3 days later you gotta do them again.
Mhm.
So if you thought that was weird, well, get ready for this.
That's a transition.
This was also at CES. It's called the Lollipop Star. It's a bone conduction music lollipop. And I thought, okay. So basically, this is a lollipop that plays music um, as you eat the lollipop. Um, yeah, and this came from ZDNet, by the way. Listen to a song directly from your mouth to your ears using bone conduction technology so you can experience music you can taste, according to company. This reviewer said they tried it out, and although you have to bite down a bit to hear the music, it did work. It's kind of a fun novelty item, and they cost $8.99 again for a lollipop. And this is their website. Oh, look, you can join the wait list. How interesting. No spam, no sugar rush emails, just pure flavor and sound. So I thought, okay, of all the things, now full disclosure, I've had two bone conduction technology earpieces for my cell phone, and I do like them. The very first one that they ever came out with was something called the Jawbone, and I don't even think they make those anymore. But they adopted it from a military application. It was a military technology developed for pilots in helicopters that couldn't hear because they were in a helicopter, but they needed to hear, so they actually funneled the sound through bone conduction through your jaw. And they came out with one and they used to advertise them. They'd say, you can stand next to a lawnmower and hear somebody, and they could hear you, and there wasn't any kind of problem with sound. So I thought, well, I got to try that, and I did. And I really liked it. And that company kind of went belly up. Now they've got a new one out that I'm using now. Actually, um, I'll show it after I'm sharing the screen. But anyway, I never, of knowing all about that, I never considered this iteration of it, where taste meets sound and flavor has a frequency. Well, I got to give them uh, props for at least the tagline. I don't know. I'll let Leo weigh in on that part. But be first in line. Of course, they are a wait list. Let's see. Is this? Oh yeah, here's another one. Lollipop Star is a speaker that plays music through your teeth. Yes, really. Um, so that kind of begs the questions. Uh, do you think this is something that could really catch on? Or is it a full on flash in the pan novelty?
State fair treats, maybe stuff like that. I think it has other applications, though. I mean, if you don't want to have earbuds in your ears when you're doing stuff, maybe they could make like a retainer or mouth guard that plays music for you instead. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say it's a serious flash in the pan. I can just see listening to whatever I'm listening to and finally finish eating it, so to speak, and I'm done. So, uh,
Yeah, I think
uh,
the lack of reusability kind of bothers me in this regard.
Isn't there a
Mhm.
isn't there
Yes.
a whole category at CES about
CES.
adult toys? I mean, this sounds like it could be pornographic.
I
I
hadn't
can
really
kind of
thought of
see
that,
that. Yeah.
although
Sorry.
researching products that are going on at CES, yes, you do come across that stuff.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, it's what started the internet. So you can
Mm.
only imagine.
yeah, yeah.
They've
Who
got the
knows what
wrong
weird stuff
demographic.
somebody
Yeah.
might try to do with something.
I don't know. I only saw pictures of adults in that. Anyway,
They
That's
made it
fair.
look
Yeah.
very kind of pop music-ish.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing about it. It was, I think there was like four different pieces of music you could hear. I don't think there was much variety. It's like, okay, if you want to listen to this music star, then you pick this popsicle. And I thought, well, or pick this lollipop. And I thought, well, that's not really.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think if
It
you have,
reminds me of where they took it was basically kind of like an electric toothbrush where you'd see these in the novelty section. It's like a lollipop holder that you push the button and it rotates it so you don't have to rotate it manually.
oh
oh,
And
they
it's like
still
yeah.
have
who
those. Those are
who
still in the candy
yeah.
stores. Yeah, it's still there.
Interesting.
Goes
Yeah.
back to the
An-
Wally movie.
I was
But like
gonna,
Another
yeah,
way,
you beat me to it. I was gonna say, yeah, that sounds like a Wally movie
well,
prop.
yeah, another way you can look at it is you can buy singing birthday cards for around $8. So why not a birthday card popsicle or
yeah, I'm actually
lollipop?
I'm not against
That
this.
might fly.
I
Yeah,
wonder if that's where they got the idea.
I have a 3 or almost 4-year-old son, and yeah, if it had like the Paw Patrol song, a few other things, he would love it. Um,
Ah,
like I could see kids. I mean, kind of like all these novelty candy things. The thing that bothers me is like, okay, if you're paid $9 for that, why can't it come as a kit and I like make new ones,
yeah.
and then he could pick his favorite songs and do it. Then it becomes a kind of a fun treat that he plays with over time. I have a 3D printer. I understand there's a lot of plastic waste and everything else and everything we do. So I'm not altruistic, but I also just like this idea that you eat basically a pop and then throw an entire song playing bone conduction device away. I'm like, come on, like
Yeah.
what are we doing now? Like this is just
Yeah,
stupid at
well,
this point.
the thing is that most likely if you finish the pop, the stick probably is still conducting.
Yeah.
And so your concept of making new ones, that I think is very interesting. That has a great possibility
Yeah.
because you should be able to actually just mold another lollipop on top of that and go again.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'll
parents,
go one step further. Maybe there's a whole razor blade play in here where you've got like other lollipop heads or whatever you that just stick on there. And you're like,
yeah.
okay, now I want to grape one with and
Mhm.
I'm going to play um uh J-Lo or something.
Mhm.
So
Well, add a little Bluetooth, sync your own short music, and you have to pay
Mhm.
$1.99 to add music. And every month for a
Mhm.
subscription, you get a
oh
little kit. You get a
now
little kit
Oh,
to
there
the
you
now
go.
you're
Beta
talking a
Subscription.
Club or
subscription
Beta
model.
Suckers.
It's SaaS, Suites as a Service. Yeah.
Yeah, you just yeah, sucker as a service. That's good.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Love
Oh,
it. Love it.
more truly
So yeah,
said.
I think there's some drawbacks. They could probably improve on it. They're not calling me, but
Well, after they see this video,
yes,
There
yeah,
we go.
yeah.
you just
So
add a nice consulting rate for
that's
yeah, they
right.
showed up at
your
Exactly.
network,
CES. It was probably a few $1,000s to show up. So
probably.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd wondered that. Is it like, okay, is their biggest part of their whole budget outside of just,
Yeah.
making what? Well, they may not even be making them yet. They may have just had prototypes if they're doing a wait list.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not one of those bad uh bad Kickstarter
Mhm.
scenarios where all of a sudden it's like, oh, you pre-ordered all these. Now we can't wait. Now let's see if we can figure out if we can make them or not.
You never know.
You never
Mm.
know.
Speaking of CES, have you followed the piece of wood that controls your home? That's like a home kit controller. Have you guys seen this thing? I've been
No.
following this. I guess like 3 years or 4 years now. I've been laughing at this thing, and they go every year. And this is the first year I've seen the press like making fun of them finally, because it's
Ooh.
the idea of it's kind of intriguing. It's like it looks like just a piece of wood you hang up, and then you can touch it, you can move it. It has little parts that kind of glow that basically work with HomeKit and can be like a smart home controller, which sounds intriguing, but then you think about it, it's just a piece of wood, and it's like laying down on your, next to your couch, and it's a remote control for things, but like there's nothing on it. There's no clear use. How do you use it? What do you do? What can it do? It's like a
Oh.
usability. It should be a case study on the lack of usability of physical products. It's the silliest,
I
most
just
ridiculous
looked it
thing,
up.
but I
This
love
is
seeing it every year for like 4 years.
I I gotta say, I love the aesthetics of it, but
Yeah,
everything else is a setback. This
yeah.
is,
Yeah,
oh
you
my
should
Can
post
you
it in
share
gosh.
your
chat so people
screen,
can click
Leo?
on us or share your screen. Yeah.
Uh, I'll do one better. I'll
Put it in the
put it
chat.
in the chat.
Yeah.
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 Do you
Oh
folks
my
remember the
goodness.
pet rock? I mean, this is a pet
Oh
rock.
yeah. This is a very expensive pet rock.
Hmm.
A nine
Yeah,
hundred and $99
yeah,
piece of wood just
yep,
became the smartest thing in your home.
yeah.
Don, you said earlier there's riches and niches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is as niche as it gets. You got to be
Yeah.
rich
Okay.
and in
This
their
is my
niche.
next question. Have they sold? I guess they've sold some. They've been going
I mean,
back
it's
to
been around for a few
CES.
years.
The note is the most annoying one, where it's like you can write a note to people, and it's
Yeah,
like,
Really?
you have so many post-it notes in a
yeah. There's one
pack
like
that
if you scroll down to like the cheese, their cheesecake is here or something
that's
like
the
that.
one. Yeah, the cheesecake's in the fridge. Yeah,
Like, why would you put that on this thing, right?
yeah, that's a
And you're sitting there
post-it
going,
note.
'cause it's just pixel
Yeah,
Armstrong.
lights.
keep going. It's you're close.
It's
There it
There it
funny.
is.
is. There it
A
is. Yeah.
cheesecake. Okay, it's not even writing very well.
No, I mean
Yeah,
it's per
it's
pixel
a keep
lighting.
it
I
light
mean,
bright. Yeah, yeah. It
Okay,
was
is
a
it real wood?
yeah, it's real wood and it has a capacitive touch sensor in it, which is impressive. I mean, it is impressive what it
Yeah.
is, but why?
Yeah, that's the big
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
It's a
dying
two
to
by
know how
four
many they've
remote.
sold now.
Yeah, and it's funny,
That
the
is
every
nuts.
picture doesn't show it, but the one at CES shows there's a white cord hanging down from it. So I don't know how any of these are
Oh.
working unless they ran the wire through the wall, which is also weird. You have this strip of wood when it's not on, and then you just have this white cord. I mean, yeah, I love this thing.
I was at
Yeesh.
CES at least 30 years ago, and it would take several days just to walk through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it must take 2 weeks now. And
Mhm.
I think CES lasts 4 days. So
Mhm.
I don't even know how you run through it to see these things.
Mm.
Yeah, that is entirely wild.
Mhm. But it does
I'm
show
looking at
like
some of the other stuff they make, though. They make some decent other
yeah, man.
things.
Yeah. And maybe just because
Huh.
this always gets so much press, they keep doing it.
Maybe that could be it. It
I mean,
could
you're looking at the
literally
website right
just
now. Yeah.
be, yeah,
But like think about how big
interesting.
CS has grown and how much like that is a statement to how much inventing in the world has grown and how it's continuing to rise. And there's so many people trying to make something from it. And this is like the one showcase we have. And think if there's that many inventors able to pay to go in there, how many people are actually not able to afford it that are out there? I think the number is
Mm,
staggering, but
Oh yeah.
finding ways to help them, move forward and turn their businesses into products there's a lot of opportunity for our country there.
mm,
Yeah. No,
great.
absolutely. Absolutely. So here's the big question. Would you buy one?
The wood thing.
No, the
The sucker thing.
Wally.
lollipop.
Honestly, I'd probably buy one if my son really wanted one and like be frustrated.
And had his favorite song
Mm,
on.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it often. I don't like to give things too often, but like I would do one here and there.
mm,
Oh, your baby's still young.
Yeah,
He's not
mm.
fully trained you yet.
no, he is not. I'm gonna fight it as long as I can. And I have another one on the way, so like it's not getting easier.
What do you think, Dave? Would you get one?
Not a chance.
Mm.
Uh,
Kevin's shaking his head too. Mm.
It's funny,
And get
everybody's
them
kind of against them,
blocks.
but we all know we've spent $9 on dumber things than this. I'm sure of it.
That's true.
100%.
Yeah.
Probably true.
Just go to a state fair. I can guarantee you
Mm,
that that will happen.
A $12 fried stick of butter, whatever it
Yes,
yeah.
is.
exactly. All right. Well, let's move on now. We're going to have our featured inventor segment, and actually, that is one of our special guests. That's Dave Woods. And Dave, I'm gonna tell you what, Theo, you want to spotlight Dave and me,
Oh, sure.
and we
Yeah,
will
I'll
talk.
need
We're going.
I'll need a screen share.
Yes.
No. Um, so the thing is we're way over time.
We
So
are.
how fast do you want me to go?
Um, just
No, I've got time.
Your
It's just I
comfort
just
level.
don't. Huh?
yeah, we did run over, and
Your
I
comfort level.
apologize with the tech issues and everything.
Right.
Um, uh, go right ahead. We'll try to keep this, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that should be easy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start with a screen share. Well,
Okay.
actually, let's not do that just yet. Let's see X.
I do have your
So
website pulled up if you need
yeah.
that.
So basically, in 2006, of all times, I decided that it's time to fix the problem of swim fins. And this is just to give you kind of a concept. You can see the fin sitting in the background over here. Um, but I started with one that looked a lot more like this. This is made out of driveway markers and shower pan liner.
Oh, I love it.
Uh, yeah, this is the first version.
I
The whole
love a Frankentype.
yeah, um, and there's approximately 200 prototypes in between. So I
Of course.
learned a lot. Um, the whole concept was is to try to come up with a sort of a wing system so that the water could flow through and you could actually have a leading edge, trailing edge, and an actual aspect ratio to improve the efficiency of fins. And I successfully did it. That fin was terrible. But uh, and then one of the problems was how to prove that I did it. And that takes us back to the issue about that we talked about the heated wing is that chamber that they had in order to do the testing was quite expensive. I had a similar problem in that the way that the Navy was figuring out the oxygen use or the energy use was by what they call VO2, volume
Mhm.
of oxygen that was consumed. And they had a very expensive system where they would feed metered oxygen into the diver and measure how much they used and while they were swimming at different speeds with different fins on. And I had to solve that problem. Then I guess I'm gonna come back here and just for show you what this fin is about is it has this other weird feature that it flips up, which was just sort of a happy byproduct. Um, this is actually somebody else's foot pocket, and they had a flip up fin, but the fin itself was horrible. So I just bought their fins, threw away the blade, and then used the foot pocket so that I could do my work,
Oh,
which
love it.
saved me a gosh lot of time. But
And
anyhow, what
money.
the fin, yes, yeah. Yeah, even though they charge $300 for a pair of fins, which is a stupid price for such terrible fins, but it got my job done. So what happens is these articulate in the stroke both up and down and create lift in the direction that you're swimming in both directions of the stroke. And essentially, what's happening is all this space in between here is allowing for the flow to go through to create that lift. But what it's also doing is eliminating drag. And that's where you're getting a lot of this efficiency. So um, that's the basic concept of the fin. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the share. So, and I think what we're going to do is we're going to share screen one, which right now that is, um, so you should be looking at a fin that's a lot of weird colors. Is that right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Okay, all right, good. So at least I know we're sharing the right thing. Um, so what I'm going to do is show you the performance curves, and I've got to get your pictures off of there. There we go. Um, so the methodology that I ended up doing is swimming a course, 150 foot out and back at a 20-foot depth out in our lake, and swimming at different speeds and trying to match those speeds, but you never can. Um, and then measuring how much air I was consuming for each of those runs, and then plotting a curve for that to figure out the consumption. And so this was probably one of the harder things to do. It's extremely strenuous, especially when you have to do this swim up here where you're swimming almost 2 miles an hour for a distance of 300 feet. When you finish that, you're just short of dead. So, um, and, uh, and so there's a lot of recovery time that's necessary for that. So anyway, but this is the methodology that I use for the testing, and I had to do an awful lot of it. This is a form that makes a little more sense to the user. It's the amount of distance that you travel on 1 cubic foot of air with the different fins. And of course, mine is the red line, and the competition are these other two. One is a military fin, and the other one is the Sherwood scuba fin that they asked me to compare to because they were curious. So, um, and in the so then you can move on one more step, and then you can compare the efficiency at the various speeds, and you can see, of course, at zero speed, obviously, if you're not swimming, all fins perform the same. So the efficiency difference really doesn't change at the bottom, but in our normal swimming speeds, you can see that I'm running generally 20% more efficient than the other fins. And when you push on up to the higher speeds, then it even increases up more. And, I was up at 60% at one point, and also going faster too. So it's how they often say is, you can get more efficient, faster, or easier. Pick any one.
Right.
This you can choose all three. So um, so that's what the fin is about. Um, I guess one of the questions that you had for me was what was the hardest part?
Yeah. What was the hardest
Uh,
part for you
so,
in your journey?
actually, as long as I got the screen sharing going, I'm going to just switch over. Um, the what I what I did is I um, made fins for the military, and because of that flip up feature, it was very handy. But I was having a horrible time getting my foot in the door, or fin in the door, as you might say. Even though I met people that they said, "Oh yeah, I used to work. I got a guy that was in SEAL Team 6. He knows so and so and can do this." And I actually did try to get the fins into the military for testing. They were tested up in Pensacola a long time ago, and the only response that I got from them was hinky. And that really didn't help much.
No.
So, they didn't say why or anything. It's just hinky, and that was the end of that. But this is what the fin that's going to be released in next year is going to look like. It won't have the flip up feature because I've learned that feature is really fairly useless for the average diver. And adds a lot of complexity to it. And the other thing is that we have to buy those foot pockets from a company that already manufactures them, and they're really not that good. So, and they want to charge an arm and a leg for them. They're charging almost as much as we are making for the entire fin. They're charging for the foot pocket alone. So it just doesn't really work. So we're manufacturing our own foot pockets now. So we're going to get rid of that one, and then we'll go to this one. And this kind of gives you a more live version of what that looks like. This is an actual file from the manufacturer showing how they've got all the different parts put together. Each of the different colors is a different piece that is molded in. And of course, those veins articulate. The third patent that I have on this is actually this hinge, which is a very tricky thing. I can show that better to you live, so I will do that. So we'll get off of the share here.
How much does it cost to tool this? That looks expensive.
To tool it? Well, not as much as you might think. Well, let me get to that. So first I want to do is show you this hinge. The problem that the military had when they were testing these is that they would occasionally land on the tip like this. And with the blade like this, where it's got a web in here, it would tear that web. And of course, that's the end of the fin. So I had to come up with a way to crash the fin without having the damage. So I came up with this hinge where it moves through the angle where it needs to move normally, but it can be overstressed to the point where it can be completely turned over and then recover. So my third patent on these fins is that hinge, and I'm patenting it as a hinge that could be used in the fin. So I'm actually patenting the hinge, not just the fin with the hinge. So anyway, the hard part was getting my foot in the door, and with that, I stumbled across a company called SoftWorks, and I'm going to bring this over here and share again.
I'd like to add a call out to, I think, David
Yeah.
Nelson, because it seems to me that the principal problem of most entrepreneurs is getting in the door. Wouldn't you agree, David?
Yeah, that seems to be the problem, and it's very interesting. So this organization, SoftWorks, if you're developing stuff, you really need to know about these guys.
Yeah.
SoftWorks is for Special Operations Force Works, is what and it's a nonprofit. It is funded by the military, and their objective is to find civilian technology and get it into the military. So by using these people to get through, when you get to the military, you actually have credibility. And so when I went through this approach, I actually got a contract to develop the fins with them. I sent them my hinky fins, if you will, the ones that I had developed for civilians, and then they understood, and see, they're using the wrong fins in these videos, so they need to change those to mine now. Anyway, I'm going to unshare that here because we're done with that. But they got me in the door, and we started out with a contract that could be ended at any time. And the nice thing about it is I get to keep the tech. So that was great. And then we went through the various stages. I sent them the first class fins. They broke the heck out of them. But we had a discussion and said, well, yeah, they like the technology. They understand what it can do, but they just aren't durable enough. So we went through a second iteration and made them more durable. Then we discovered that tearing problem we talked about, a third iteration to fix that. And then the problem was is that they were literally breaking the fin because it was made from cast urethane, which I talked about, more or less before we started a little bit. But cast urethane doesn't have the same properties as polypropylene. So that polypropylene can bend a lot without, I can take this and unfortunately I'm not really strong enough to bend it, but I can bend the heck out of this and it just won't fail. Um, and I think you've got to stretch it something like 400, 500% before it actually, fails completely, or I should say doesn't recover. Um, and so that's, it's really good stuff. But the urethanes had problems, particularly that if you impacted it, it could shatter, which was a problem. It was really weird, is you could take it and you could bend it and let it recover, but if you impacted it, it would shatter. So, um,
Wow.
so I told them that, look, the only way I can solve that problem is by making the injection molded version. And they were interested enough that they said, okay, let's do that. We'll fund the tooling for an injection molded version. And I thought, hey, this is great. So, and with that, I knew I needed to find a good company to do the manufacturing. And I have been going to the manufacturing shows and things like that and learning that going overseas to get the cheap stuff is difficult because I'm nobody. And it's not just because someone could steal your tech and stuff like that, but I'm also nobody. So when I say I need to have a change and I need to have it next week, that doesn't really mean anything to them. They say, well, I've got a $2 million client over here, and I got this guy that's doing 100,000. And who are you going to pay attention to? Yeah. So what I did is I found a scuba company that was willing to listen to it. And this was an interesting thing that I've learned in the years of trying to get my foot in the door with a manufacturer now is in the, in this should apply to pretty much any industry, is that you don't want to create a product replacement. You want to sell the company a product extension. Um, and most of the fin manufacturers already have a bunch of fins. They've spent millions of dollars developing them and marketing them and all that other business. And I was talking with one company, Mares, which is an Italian company. And we had a good friendship. He understood what it was. They liked the fins. They put it on their testing machine that says it's the best fin they've ever tried. But they said it would cause confusion amongst our customers because we've already said this is our best fin, and now we're coming up and saying this is our best fin, and we've already spent $2 million on it. We just can't afford to do that. So I found Sherwood Scuba, who is really a regulator company, and they have fins, but they're just sort of knockoff fins. So this is their opportunity to have their own fins, and they're also a much smaller company. So my fin is actually a significant portion of their revenue. So it became sort of a match made in heaven, is that, and we were very, so I put together a work for hire agreement with them where it's my fin. I'm providing the funding for them to do the tooling to make these fins, but they need to make them to my specifications, and I get to talk with the manufacturer. And then what comes out of this is that then I would license this to them when they're done. So they get to basically do the whole R&D portion of their development at no cost. And
That's nice.
and this just worked great for them. So I get the military to pay me, I pay them, they make the fins, and I make sure that they get through to the military, and it worked great. And then they said that okay, the deal is that if the military likes them, then we'll do the licensing deal.
I
And
love that,
so
Dave.
yeah,
That is so
you know,
cool.
now this took a long time. I mean, the
Hmm.
military contract took 2.5 years. So
I remember when
uh,
you were going through
yeah.
that. That was,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that was really
Yeah.
something.
So it was a long process, but they paid me like $250,000 for, and of course I spent it all,
Right, right.
um, but actually not all of it. I got about 30,000 left. So,
Not bad.
um, but yeah, but I've never paid myself a cent really. Um, so so that brings us to the licensing agreement. So how did that work out? Um, Another company called Nature's Wing well, I don't have a sample of it here, but came up with a split fin, which was in around the 2000 era, which was the whole new fin thing. And their methodology for licensing is I think they were saying they were just charging $25,000 a year to license that technology to them, and it didn't matter how many they made. And then they licensed it to everybody. Uh, I used a different approach is I said, okay, Sherwood, you're going to be the prime licensor. And I'm going to have him, they license for me and they can sub-license, but I also get a kickback from the sub-licenses. Um,
Yeah.
and so they get so essentially anybody they're sub-licensing to is going to cost them more. And then we also talked about the percentage. Normally it's some percentage of the manufacturing cost, but what is the manufacturing cost? Is that landed or is it, what things does it
Hmm.
include? What doesn't it include? It gets really messy.
Yep.
So we decided, okay, we're going to do it differently. We're just going to do $2 a fin and that's it.
Yep.
But then how do we handle inflation? I figured, well, what we can do is we can just tie it into the consumer price index and just say that, each year we'll look at the CPI and increase it according to that. Uh, and then one other thing we had to talk about was that tooling that I paid for. Uh, and whose tooling is that? They want it because it's got their name on it,
Hmm.
But but how do we do that? So we decided that what we'll do is it costs um, around $130,000 for the tooling. Of course, I didn't actually pay for it. The military paid for it. So I said, okay, what we'll do is we'll charge $1 a pair until you've amortized $50,000 on it, and then we'll call it your tooling. And so that way, now I'm getting $3 a pair in the beginning, and away we go. And the nice thing
Cool.
about this is these guys have been great to work with. Effectively, all of our agreements have more or less just been a handshake.
Wow.
We do have a full contract worked up and we have it signed, but what we don't have is we don't have it dated. And their rationale on it is very easy. They're right now, what they're doing is they're spending probably $500,000 doing tooling for that new version. This they only had to make one essentially set of tools because there's only one size. All these foot pockets are all different sizes, but they all fit the same blade.
Yep.
But uh, but the fixed one, they have five different sizes, so we have to make five different sets of tools. So they're currently fronting the money to do that and we have a signed undated contract, but they're spending money left and right now. So it makes me totally happy. I mean, because they're committed to this. Because if they're dumping the money in, it's definitely happening. And they're make the thing is their policy is to not have uh, not sell a product unless they have sufficient stock to support selling the product. And
Oh,
so they want to have all five pairs of the fin, all five sizes of the fins in stock when they say, yes, we're going to sell this next year. So we're looking at essentially July to have all the tooling done and tested to make sure that's all running for all five sets of fins. And then in August is when they make the call and say, yep, we're selling these next year. And then November is, of course, when you go back to DEMA and announce, hey, we've got the fins. So,
cool. Well,
so it's
Dave,
coming.
that's just amazing. Your
Yeah.
whole story with this and all the twists
Mhm.
and turns and
Oh,
how
yeah.
if you had any one piece of advice for inventors, entrepreneurs out there, what would it be?
Well, there's two things. One is I kept my day job.
Art?
Everything, the process for me ran, it's 18 years now that this has been going on, which is really stupid long time. But and it won't, not everyone, depending on your product, you can't sustain that. But fortunately, this I've apparently one of the interesting things is that when divers look at these fins, they hate them. They say these are just stupid. It depends. It's the dive instructors and the tech divers that are sort of stuck on the old technology that
Hmm.
just say that that these are terrible. But that is until they try them.
Yeah.
And once they've tried them, then they're sold because they've suddenly realized that wow, there's a lot of power in these things, and I don't have to kill myself to do it. Um, and so the fact that when they look at it and they think that's a bad idea, nobody's trying to replicate it, which is nice.
That's
And
that's good.
so we're just yeah, so we're just moving along. Actually,
Cool.
talking to Mary's, they said that their new product guy said that he looked at my patent and he just doesn't see a way he can get around it, which I like that too.
That's
So,
yeah.
so
That
it
was a
keeps
good
the
patent
honest people
strategy.
honest. Yeah. So. That
All right.
and of course now we also talked about planned obsolescence a little bit with the
Mhm.
windshield wipers, and of course I already have the next two versions figured out.
Oh,
I just have to
cool.
do the development on them. And that's my project for the next couple of years is actually developing the ones that are going to be sold, 3 and 5 years from now. Is get those done. And because
Very
no, this
cool.
is not the end of the line on efficiency. I can even up the ante some more.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um,
Dave, if somebody is interested in these, where would they need to go?
well, they're going to be sold by Sherwood Scuba. And we're expecting the announcement in August of being on the market in January of 27.
All right.
Um, and so basically, anyone that sells Sherwood is is where you go. So dive shops. Another interesting thing about Sherwood is they are currently on a campaign to try to encourage brick and mortar stores.
Mm,
So they're actually selling a lot of their products exclusively through brick and mortar, not online. And because really in the dive industry, you really do need those stores because you need a place to go in to talk to people and learn about the different gear and things like that. So I'm liking that approach too. So,
very cool. Well, I know
and
Leo's
it
got
doesn't hurt that they're in Georgia, so that it's not very far
oh,
to
not
to go
far at all.
visit.
Helps a lot.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah.
Well, Leo's got the Sherwood Scuba website in the chat, and we've run a little long, so I'm going to wrap stuff up. But thank you so much, Dave, for sharing your story, and just I think this is an inspiration for tenacity and getting where you need to go with all of this.
Yeah, and I guess I can throw in, uh, I'll just throw in my phone number. Or maybe should I do email instead?
This is going on
I do
YouTube,
it if I was
so
you.
Um, let's,
Yeah, I'd throw my email in the chat or something
yeah, that'll be good.
if I was you.
All right. While you're
so
doing that,
there's my email. So if anybody has questions, particularly about casting, I've learned a ton about casting in this process, and but I'll be glad to talk to anyone that has any questions.
all right, good deal. Well, thank you again. Thank you to all the guests for being a part of this, and thank you for your patience, everybody, all the way around, for our little gremlins we had tonight. But I think we've had a great night in spite of it all. So
Agreed.
again,
Yeah,
watch for news
thank
and
you.
announcements coming up via email and social media. Be sure and watch your email inbox. Our next open meeting is going to be on February the 3rd. Stay tuned for announcements for that. And the next Inventor Friday is going to be on Friday, February 13th. Friday the 13th might be a little hint for what will be going on. So thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for spending
Oh, and
your Friday evening
real
with
quick,
us. And we will,
alamoinventors.org. You can
yep,
go to their next meeting, which is Wednesday. Right,
yes,
George?
next Wednesday. All right. Good deal.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you for
night.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Everybody.
All right,
Have a
it's
good
All right.
been fun.
Bye bye.